Hello, Danhausen here. Danhausen here to let you know that you are watching Dre41 Gaming. They do video games of some sort. Who knows? Danhausen doesn't. But you're very nice, very evil, do time. And if you do not watch this channel, you shall rue the day.
What's up, y'all? It is your boy Drake41, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast. Listen, we haven't done this in a while, all three of us, but we here. It's your boy Drake41. We got my boy Sean Styles and Ken Washington in the building. What's going on, y'all?
What's up, Dre? How you doing, man?
I'm working actually. That's what sucks. I'm on call, so if my phone rings, I'm gonna have to pause myself. So,
oh man,
and y'all could just go on and talk. So we'll see. I have to heavily edit this video. What I want to do, or what we're gonna do. Well, what I'm gonna do when I edit this, I'm gonna put in like footage of what we're talking about, so people can have a great understanding. So yeah, that'd be good because people want visuals. Because I swear, if they just listen to us, they're gonna tune out. Yeah, we're gonna talk about 2K25 and how excited we are about the game and how much we love it. And we love 2K in there. They're the wrestling game overlords. We love them. We praise them. We love you, 2K. We love you. Who's going first? I'm not going first. I'm not going first.
You sure you shouldn't go first?
I shouldn't go first. I shouldn't go first. Because I'm mad at the... No, go ahead. I'm not going first.
John,
John, I'm saying, what's good?
All right, let's start this off with some positivity.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, let's it's going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Once.
Well, so from everything I've seen so far, it looks like there's been some improvements over 2K24. The visuals are pretty much on par with how they should be, in my opinion. I think they look really great. The hair physics definitely are improved a bit this year, which was nice to see. From what I can tell, they're using a new lighting engine, which has helped with some of the textures and stuff on the models, which look nice. As far as the gameplay goes, looks like they've done a few things as far as broadening what they're allowing you to do, as far as the barricade jumps, interactivity with a lot of the backstage stuff. The WWE archives was that one hit me in my feels. I really enjoyed seeing that space, and I hope that they continue to make environments within the arena that interactive, because I think if they do, there'll be a lot more fun to be had and freedom to do some cool spots and stuff. But backstages were a big plus for me. I haven't heard anything on Creation Suite yet, which has me worried. I feel like that's always the last thing they talk about because it's not something that typically gets huge updates. Promos are back. Yay.
Okay. Honestly, I think that's a good thing. But
it is a very good thing. I think I wish they would remove universe mode from the game and rebuild it the way they did with GM mode, because I feel like the story we hear all the time is, oh, the code for universe was written by Ukes or something along those lines. They can't really touch it because if they do, it breaks other stuff in the game. Universe, I love universe mode, man. That's like one of the main modes I play. I love to run back like the 80s golden era, 95 new gen, attitude era, WCW. That's like my bread and butter. I like setting up my rosters, my champions, and I love simming like the cards. I love to just go through and do tournaments and all that stuff. And I feel like there's just so much more freedom that could be had than what we're allowed to do. And if they can't work with the formula they have now, I feel like maybe putting, your resources, time, and energy into something like that would be a bigger payoff than the island. Obviously the island is a mode that's designed to generate them post-launch revenue, which is, that is what it is. A lot of games are doing that right now. So to expect them not to have something like that in play would be silly, but they have My Faction, which is what I kind of thought was there. I wish a lot of the resources and time would go into modes that need love and attention rather than building something new just to generate post-launch revenue.
Dags, he had that written down.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, he rehearsed that before
Yo,
No.
he had that one.
he had a
Just
couple
bravo.
since we said we was going to do it at this time. He's like, let me get my monologue started. Let me go ahead and line this
Yeah, his
up.
promo set, boy. I tell you, he wasn't playing.
Man. Well, I've been doing a
man.
lot of public speaking lately. I started doing stand-up comedy, and I've been talking a lot lately. So maybe that's helped a little bit.
You could write
Hey,
a whole sketch on the state of WWE2K.
yo, for
I
real,
don't
man. You
doubt
should be
that.
their PR guy, for real.
Yeah, they need to hire
Dude.
you and put you in PR. It's
Can you want to go or should I?
I'll go ahead and go
All right.
because fuck it. That's why. All right, so I kind of hate the direction that 2K is going, even though we all had to see it coming. I have been playing these games since God knows how far back, before it even became, 2K, the SVR series, the older games where we had so much more, and then you take it away. And I get it that we are in an era where now the online is how you want to make your money, especially with how NBA 2K sucks up so much. Like, you're already paying $70 for the fucking game, and then you pay so much more just to get a my career person to 88, which is where I feel like the island will go next year, probably. Probably not this year, but next year you'll have your character, and you're going to wind up having to pay extra money, not only to get your gear, but to get them a higher overall, so that when you do those live events, you're not getting squashed out by somebody. That's number one. Number two, for anybody who didn't see this coming, I really do need you to open your eyes. Everything that happened over the last year with 2K and their banning waves. Now I'm talking about WWE 2K and their banning waves and how they've been watching people, and they can say what they want to. I know they show up in people's feds, watching, listening. I went on a whole rant on one of my own shows, and then the next thing I know, little messages popping up in weird space. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not a seller. I ain't going to sell nobody right now except Dre. But just little stupid things. And we know y'all watch. We know y'all pay attention when videos like this come out, because you say you want to hear the negative, but you really don't, because you just do the complete fucking opposite. So you're going to put these modes in, you're going to backtrack people who have PCs who are probably more advanced, they can be, than an Xbox Series X and a PS5. Well, just be honest with the people. You don't want the modders over there no more. You tried it for 1 year, you got fucked, and you were like, God, we don't want to go through this no more. Well, hopefully, here's everybody who has the PS4 and Xbox One. We just monitor. We don't really monitor those anymore anyway. It's like the last days of the 360 and the P3. They don't really get monitored that heavily no more. But the current gen, the PS5, the Xbox Series X or S, whichever one you have, those are the ones being monitored. Those are the ones that most people at this point would have. So those are the ones where they're trying to make the money for. So the poor PC players who don't have the newer gen systems, well, if they want to share their creations with just some of their buddies, let's say they're not doing like the whole eFed thing, they just want to share their creation with their buddy. Now they can't unless they go out and drop $500 on a console and then at least another $70 on the game. So you're as we talked about beforehand, you just kind of having people grab their ankles, breathe in, breathe out, and hope to God that it don't hurt. I mean, you're not giving them any kind of lubrication or Vaseline. You ain't even giving them a kiss on the cheek. You just sticking it in full fledged and being like, well, hope for the best. And that's really how it feels. Like, I've not pre-ordered the game. I refuse to spend $130 on a game that, if I put in the time I played 2K24, I think I had more time actually doing my Fed stuff. I had that recorded months ago than I did actually playing the game, because it was like it got to the point where it was almost like Fight Forever with AEW. It became repetitive. It was like the same thing. I can run these specific moves, and then of course I had my little universe where I would watch it. But even after that, after a while, I'm like, all right, I really don't want to do this no more. I got like 600 hours in college football, which technically, if you think about it, could be played the exact same way every single game. I looked at my hours on 2K. I think I got maybe 30.
Mm.
And that's not on my main profile. That's on my backup profile. On my main profile, I think it was long enough to create myself and spread it to the world. And then that was about it. I really haven't done much after that. And that's how I pretty much feel about 2K at the moment. They've alienated enough people to where it's gonna backfire and not all at the same time. And I'll explain what that means right quick. It's gonna backfire as in the people who don't have the funds to get the newer gen systems, they may wind up not buying it unless they have a PC, because it's no point for them. Like, I already know one who does not have either of the new consoles, and they're like, bro, it's no point in me buying the game because the only thing I ever do is create myself and send it to everybody. So you're losing customers on the previous gen systems, and I get it, but not everybody has that financial mean to just go out and drop $600 on the new consoles. And where it's not going to backfire is all the people, and you know who you are. You're sitting here, you bitching and you moaning about the game and the island, and you'll probably be the main ones in there with the fresh Jordans on, the fresh Nikes, the fit all the way from head to toe, and then you'll bitch about the fact that you spent $130 on the game and then $130 for cosmetic items that they're not going to send you in the mail, and you'll have to buy again next year because that's just 2K's model. And I am done.
Oh man. All right. There's a lot of ways to look at this. Now, I don't want to like have this thing be like a whole like just dig on 2K. So my thing first and foremost is gameplay wise, looking at it. They gave us a lot of stuff that we didn't have before. Intergender matches, jumping off the barricade, which we had before. The I wouldn't say new backstages because they got the main one that they have set is the same one they've been doing for years. There's no real innovation on that one, so they just added two more, which is cool.
Right.
I feel like with the backstages, they still could do more with them, open them up more, especially if they're doing this whole separation of current and last gen. I think current gen people should benefit from spending the extra money on the newer consoles. Opening up those backstages a little bit more, give us a little bit more to do. The NXT parking lot is cool. The glass doesn't even explode when you put them through it. I felt like that was super lame. Like it just breaks. Like it's I don't know.
There was no audio with it at all. You couldn't hear the that was a little bit disappointing when I was like, oh shit, glass, and then I was like, oh shit.
But it doesn't break. It doesn't explode when you put them through it. The same thing with the lightsabers. You know what I'm saying? So even with that's kind of like disappointing. Chain wrestling, I don't mind it, honestly, because I do the EFED thing. So it's like when you record and stuff like that, you like the setup. You know what I'm saying? Doing the chain wrestling at the beginning, that's fine. I don't mind it at all. Another thing that I do appreciate is them like not going to that. What is it? What slingshot technology?
Oh,
that was stupid. I hated it. It was so dumb. Like sometimes it was like 2-3 minutes where you're just watching a cutscene and you can't skip it. You just have to just sit here.
It totally took you out of the experience.
Yes, and so I'm happy they took that out. I'm good, and they gave us something different. They gave us some more like fantasy type of stuff, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
I'd rather do that than play something I've already seen happen. I'm tired of reliving WrestleManias. 100. I'm tired of playing through something I've seen on TV just 2 years ago. That's not fun. It's not. That does nothing for me. I think them coming up with the Bloodline deal, showcase, that was very creative on their part, and signing a bunch of wrestlers or former wrestlers who was with WWE, who was part of that lineage. That's great. I appreciate that. I appreciate them making women bleed finally.
Yep.
I do appreciate that because women get busted open too.
Like when you're working with Nia Jax, right?
Nah, you got to leave that one in. You
Um, but like overall, I do appreciate the fact that they did add stuff to the game. Even like on 24, like there's more. What is it like paybacks? Whatever, like the special ability thing, like when you play through My Rise, you unlock more. So I like that. I listen, this 24, because I didn't beat 23s. I did 22s. But it's like every other year I beat the My Rise. I did the men's and women's one. And it's like they do have cool features that you can use outside of that mode. Huh?
I did the My Rise, the male one for the suit, because it got you that suit.
Oh, yeah, the women's one, you get like a soul snatcher kind of thing where you lift them up in the air like Shang Tsung and take their soul and joint. It's cool. But honestly,
that's what The Rock wants to do to Cody. Just
he's gonna use that's gonna be his new his new
up in the air, little green
soul snatcher. He's like, your soul is mine. Yeah, he's gonna say it has begun, all that. But no, I appreciate the gameplay. Like I do. I also like the underground joint, even though they're clearly. I mean, Raw Underground was a complete ripoff of GCW's Bloodsport. Let's just be honest. It is what it is. It's a ripoff of Bloodsport, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. I like the presentation. I like the darker atmosphere to it, so I can appreciate that.
Man, I wish they would have that lighting for like house shows. When you go to a house
you could do that though. You can make that happen.
I don't know if you can get that specific one. Just that dark arena with just the spotlight on the ring.
You can.
Okay.
In 2K24, you could do that. It's difficult though. Like you got to mess with the lighting, and you won't be able to really. Well, no, you should be able to tell because you got construction lighting and in-ring lighting.
I don't mess with creating arena, so I have no idea. That's
out of my depth. Like,
yeah,
because I did the Lucha Underground arena, and I made the lighting like it was on television. So you can do that. That was something that they did add. I know they sit there and make it seem like, oh, we had to do this and that, but dog, you already did it. Like, cut it out. So I appreciate that. Roster updates are roster updates. Yeah. I'm not giving them no points on that because that's just regular. It is what it is. And that's where the positive kind of ends for me. I'm gonna piggyback off of the island and say I feel like that is definitely gonna alienate a big portion of the community, and it's mainly because they're showing these call parts that you have to buy, and all I'm seeing really is like generic parts,
right?
That you can clearly just add logos to if you upload logos.
Yeah,
like it's not that deep. Like I see like people, oh, it's 22. It's like, dog, you don't have to buy that, to be honest. Like all those logos I can find online, upload them and create the parts and have, here you go. You want a chalk line shirt? I mean, chalk line a jacket? I got you. I go online, rip those photos, boom, there you go. I do a custom one just with your call. I could do it for you, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's like looking at those. There's no real reason for me to like really even want those. The only things I would probably get that I would struggle for, masks, maybe some boots, but like even the shoes, dog. Why do their expectations for this mode? Yes, you are going to have people for the island who are going to spend money. You are. And what is going on with my whatever? It's fine. You're going to find people who are going to spend the money for the island. It's the fact. There's going to be people who say, oh, I want to buy this. Oh, I want to buy that. Buy. Oh, I can wear Jordans. Oh, I can wear Nikes, whatever. Dog, I'm going to find the logos and I'm going to slap them on some generic shoes and call it a day. You are not about to see me spend real world money on some shoes that I can't wear in real life. I'm sorry. I'm not buying no Nikes. I'm not buying no Jordans. I'm not buying none of those dumbass clothes that are in there. They already played some nonsense with us in 24 where the real boxing gloves was stuck in with my faction. Dog, I'm not playing my faction to get those damn boxing gloves. I don't care if Trick Williams wore them. I wanted to use them. There were some boxes that I wanted to make. I wanted to make Mike Tyson with some boxing. Couldn't do it. I don't care. Like, I feel like they are trying to monetize the hell out of every option they could. They seen what money they can make in NBA 2K and figured, yo, we could do the same thing in WWE. I don't blame the devs. It's not the devs' fault. It's the people above them that are telling them to do this. This is what we're doing. Here's how we can make more money. We need you to program this. We need you to make this. It's not the devs' fault. It is the people above them. The people who really make the decisions on how this game should be. So I don't want to blame the devs. It's not their fault. I'm not going to blame Brian Williams. I'm not going to blame Lionel Jinx, if that's his real name. I'm not going to blame none of them. It's not his real name. We're not going to talk about it, but it's fine. Like, I can't blame these people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and another thing, right. I feel like also they shouldn't do interviews. That was a big thing. Like, that I think, like, all this heat that they've been getting is, and it's not Brian Williams' fault. It's not his fault. I just feel like they shouldn't do interviews, because if they know, like, they should have an understanding of what the community is going to ask. This shouldn't be a surprise anymore. And if they know that you're not going to bring in what people are looking for, don't do interviews. Just do game update videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it to where it's a situation where you don't have to sit there and necessarily go out on you know, on that what is the walk the board, whatever. What they doing? The plank, walk the plank. There we go. Words. Walk the plank, and you know what I'm saying? And then you put yourself out there and then people are mad at you. Stop doing interviews. Don't do them until you really have something that you can really promote. I never understood the whole concept of having these interviews where they can't answer nothing. What are you here for then? Like, what? Like, granted. Now, I'm not doing
views.
That's true. Shout out to the YouTubers who do that just for views, because y'all know y'all not gonna get no real answers. I think the last person who really got some answers. Well, no, I didn't get no answers when I interviewed him either. But I did put him. I put his ass on the spot, because my interviews with him, I didn't go through 2K. I went directly through him. I was just like, "Yo, I need you on," and my questions were the spiciest. And I think that's when AEW got pissed. I'm not gonna talk about it. That's the reason why they got AEW games, is because of your boy. That's why they got their own YouTube channel, because of your boy right here. Because I was on some bullshit with this interview, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
You stay up. Never mind. I gotta cut in for 1 second. So you mentioned and I mentioned it too, the logo parts. So I'm curious if that's why. All right, you remember that picture I showed you in 24, Sean? I got to show it to you, where I had the call that looked fine up until they came out to the ring, and then the entire fit was fucked.
It was glitch. The glitch. I never had that happen to me, but
that was
thankfully I didn't either. No, I didn't have it happen to me.
And
but you know about it, right?
Yes.
And they were talking about you were supposed to delete one by one, which I was doing. I never mass deleted anything. I deleted them one by one, and it still happened.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they figure, well, now you won't have to do that anymore. Like, is that one of the thought processes? Because they know that glitch was a very big annoyance to a lot of people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that helps them soothe their brains with the whole island thing. Well, you can just buy XYZ here, and you don't have to worry about uploading a logo. And
I don't think that's
because you mentioned the
option,
Jordans.
though. That's not a real option, though. Like,
for people like who create, people like me and you, sure. But for those who like Sheed, who take the easiest way possible to get their call completed,
he does. He is the laziest. He will do the absolute least amount of work when it comes to creating a wrestler. He'll show something and be like, "Yo, I'll put a face texture on it later, but this is what I was thinking." Like, dog, if you don't get this default face ass call away from me, I am not sitting here trying to even give you no pointers on this. This is crazy. Why are you doing this to me? What I do? You know what I'm saying? But no, I get it. You're
Shouts
gonna,
out to
like
Sheed.
I said, you're gonna find those people on the island. They will buy that stuff. Like I said, I think the people they're going to alienate are the people who are really into this call, like the creation suite, who are like who feel like their skills are good enough to where they don't need to go on that island. Like I said, there's people who can make sneakers. I see that all the time on Twitter. There's people on there who can make Jordans, Nikes, Adidas, all that stuff with just a couple of logos. Now, do I like the way they make it with the logos? No, because they always make them with 512 by 512, and you don't need to do that. You're just wasting space. They say this 1,000 logo limit is not true. It's only if you upload 1,000 logos at 128 by 128. That's the only way you're reaching 1,000. Other than that,
yeah, they need to stop lying about that too.
They keep lying about.
People need to start listening with that.
Yo, the community just don't even get it, bro. I'm like, when they say, "Is there a 1,000 logo limit?" Still, it's like, dog, it's not a 1,000. It's based on the memory. That's what all this stuff is based on. And they made the game to where the memory could only take 128 by 128 logos and only 1,000 of them. If you do a bunch of 512s, you're cutting it way out. Then when you do in arenas, you're cutting it super way off. You're probably going to get 8, maybe 900. But people don't get it. I've been saying this for years. I stopped saying it because it's like people don't listen to me. I figured it out years ago that there's no real 1,000 logo limit, no real actual 1,000 logo limit. Because, all right, think about it like this. You got 100 wrestlers, right? And you only got 1,000 logos.
Because you're not going to be able to make.
You'll never be able to make 100 calls
and
have all separate, like different logos for each one, unique logos for each one. You'll never be able to do that unless you don't create arenas, you don't create titles, you don't create shows. The only way you'll be able to do it.
Unless if you're creating guys like Luthez and shit with
like you'll be able to do that, no problem. Luthez and Gorgeous George.
Yeah. Realistically, that leaves you 10 logo spots per car, which is kind of nuts.
That's ridiculous.
You know, that's why I stopped putting all branding on pads and stuff. Like I stopped using like the Trace logos and the McDavid logos because first of all, the in-game wrestlers don't have logos on the pads, and second of all, it's an easy area to cut where you're like, okay, yeah, this takes out some detail, but it's going to save me on space.
Absolutely, and that's
I always thought about it like once. I hate giving him credit, but once Dre told me about the logo limit, I started thinking about it as you're not even close enough to the call for it to need to be that clear.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like AI versus AI matches. And 24 had the cool angle where you're looking at the background. There's more detail in the background in the stage than there was on the actual call. So there's no point in you throwing 512 all over the place, and the only time you'll actually see it is on the entrance for about 2 seconds before the camera flips behind you. And now we won't ever see that.
Especially if you're talking about like a Nike swoosh on a sneaker. I mean, if you're talking about a huge logo on someone's chest for a singlet or tights, I mean, that's a little bit different. But if you're talking about like tiny little details on boots or wristbands, it's like...
Yo, Converse logos, 512 by 512. Why?
What is it?
Like, bruh, like I'm looking at it and I'm just like, bruh, why? I download somebody's call and I'm like, what are you doing? You're killing me here. Like, bro, I started deleting people's logos. Like, no, we're not doing this. I'm gonna upload my own. I can find it. Don't worry. Like, I'm deleting this. Like, I can't do this. Like, it's taking too much space. You don't get it.
It got to the point that once I got done, like, since I recorded so far into the future. Again, thanks, Dre. Once I got done with them, like for the season, like once I know that they had their last match, fell off my system. Like, it's no point. I need to
get up out of here.
Space.
Yeah, I need that space back. Get you up out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what do y'all think about like the what is it? The free camera? What is that? What do they call it again?
The third-person camera.
Third-person camera. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's a cool idea. I don't know how often I'll use it. I think it's one of those things that's going to be like cool the first few times you use it, and then depending on what your preference is for viewing matches.
Depending on how you use it. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Do y'all think it's like something innovative? I mean, because it's going to be based on how you use it. I'm pretty sure there's somebody or a couple people who are going to figure out how to make it look so cool.
Yeah,
but I feel like
I think it's going to be amazing for content creators more than it's going to be for people actually playing the game.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I say maybe for show intros, cool. Did they bring back the pyro for the beginning of shows on Universe? Did they bring?
Nope.
No, they
No,
didn't.
you
Okay,
still
No,
well,
that was
you still gotta
confirmed.
go
No.
find Chris Jericho's and I'm
okay. So
sorry,
I already know
generic
how to
3
make
and
that.
yeah.
I know how to make that happen again. Okay, no problem. It's cool. All right. So as far as backstages go, I mean, we have the warehouse, which is super cool, nostalgia filled. That one, even there, right? Like, I feel like they could have did more. They got Steve Austin's monster truck that you can't do nothing with.
Bro, you should be able to get in that thing and plow over everything.
AO everybody.
I want someone to run. I want to be able to run over someone and watch them do 10 flips in the air like they're in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
Oh my
Yo, for
god.
real.
See,
Yeah, I
like
want it.
those games.
Yo, stuff like that. It should be super arcadey. Why? Like, and then it's like you have us in this new area, but even though yes, it's levels like vertically, it's still horizontally such a small area,
Yeah.
and it's just like, bro, we're on current gen systems. Stop playing with us. Like,
At the very least, I wish that all those areas were connected so that you could access them from one to the other. I think, it's like, okay, at least if you did that and you did a backstage brawl, hey, if I'm in the warehouse and I want to go to the backstage area, I can access that. If I want to leave the backstage area and I want to go to the parking lot, I can access that. Instead of having to do separate matches to get to those areas, if they could somehow make them connected so that they're accessible through each other, I feel like that would make such a huge difference. Because
God, do you
separately they're
remember those
cool.
days?
Yeah, man.
right?
Like, dude,
Remember when you could take a train to Times Square? Oh my goodness.
bro, that shit was wild. And not only that, but like even just as recently as 2019, the backstage area, you had
You
gorilla
could walk
position.
around. Yeah.
You had
It was
the
an
hallway,
office.
you had the locker room, you had the office, you had catering, you had the interview area, you had the parking lot. All that was connected
Yeah,
so that
backstage
you could
fights
have
were
matches
great.
flow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just I think that's missing, that connectivity where it's I don't want to have to start and stop matches just to get to a different area. It kills it.
And it
Yeah.
pisses me off to hear them say that it messes with it. Well, if you still using they can say what they want to, but in some form or another, they still got a lot of what 2K19 had in some of these games. Why can't you use some of that? What is it breaking so bad that you can't have something like a connected backstage where you walk through the curtain and then you wind up in Gorilla and you wind up here and you wind up what changed so much? Because
Something
once
happened with
2K20
yeah.
shit
Yeah.
the bed, it just went south from there.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man. It feels like with them, it's more so like, well, we can't really open the game up, so let's just try to add this, or try to add that, and it's just like, I understand it. They got a engine that they didn't fully understand. They can't fully get through. But if that's the case, dog, be upfront about it. Say, listen, here's what we got to do. We're gonna add here. We're gonna have to take this stuff out in order to add it back, but at least it's coded to where we can deal with it.
And I feel
Now,
like that little statement right there, what you just said, I'm going to tell you exactly this is happening. I know you don't like it, but this is why it's happening. But in a few years, it's going to come back. That transparency, that
mhm.
being upfront, would go so much further than vague answers of hardware limitations or, oh, maybe next year. Like, just tell us, hey, listen, this change you want to see is going to take a 2 game cycle, So some
Yeah,
stuff's going to have to come out. But
But there's an easier way that they could have avoided this. Stop being it's a wrestling game. Stop making it every year. If you had so we're
I
on
said
what
this before.
24
I
now.
think that's a
If you
WWE
have
decision, I think. But
Yeah.
if you had I'm just throwing this out here. Okay, so the current gen systems have been out for 4 years.
Mhm.
In the 4 years, if you had only put out 2 games, so you put out a game when the consoles first come out.
yeah,
Now you've drawn people to it. Then 2 years later, you drop a game and you're like, oh, we're adding the island to it. It'd be a whole lot easier for people to be like, oh well, we've been playing this for 2 years. The island. It would be easier to bridge them into something like the island if you took more time than this year. We've got logo issues, bleeding memory. Shit works when it wants to, and then the very next year it's like, hey, here's a whole brand new money suckle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you took the
that's something I feel
time,
like it's important.
even if you this is going to sound terrible. Please don't take this part of the idea. But even if you've already made the game for the next year and you just delay it an extra year to make it seem like you put some real effort into it,
Well, no,
even then,
you can't just hold it like you did and didn't. You can't do that. You can't hold it like you
I'm
did and
just
didn't.
that's why I
And
said
that's
don't take that
crazy.
part of the suggestion. But I never mind. But you doing something like that, I feel like would help stop the bleeding because right now the community is up in arms. And a part of it, as we talked about, is kind of y'all own fault. But that's where I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to get completely canceled. I want one of my damn Twitters to work.
All right. So, I mean, are we in agreement that the island is something that y'all feel like is not a good idea for the WWE series in general?
I
Oh,
I am
and
in
if not, what should it be replaced with, or should it just nothing?
I am in agreement that it does not fit for the 2K series and the WWE. And this is speaking at somebody who used to do my career in 2K every fucking year. I haven't done a 2K my career since 20. I ain't even been. I don't know what the island or whatever the hell it is now. I don't even know what it looks like. I just play my NBA mode, get my team together, and go do that. I'm the island is something that somebody like me, and this is as somebody who creates content with the game, I'm never going to use. So if for my world champion shows up to me like, yo, I got this from the island. Well, I guess you ain't champ no more because I ain't going there. That's how it's going to
You
work.
know, it's going to make it so much difficult with people with
Yeah.
defense. It's going to make it difficult because you got to
Which
tell
I,
people, yo, don't give me nothing with any of the island stuff on it because I'm not buying it.
which
And
weirdly
you're going to
enough,
find
I
people who
feel
do.
which weirdly enough, I feel like it's something that maybe they're trying to do, even though the creators, which is something that they haven't been listening to for the last however many years we've been screaming this at them. The creators are the ones who keep the game going long after we're done with My Rise or the weak ass road to WrestleMania. The people who do feds, who make creations and post them online, we're the ones that keep it alive for that entire cycle. And if you're gonna sit there and fuck on it the whole time, like it's make my GM online so I can play and beat somebody online across that. Do something with that instead of it being the exact same thing every year. But don't waste the time with
Well,
the
my
island.
GM online this year.
It is.
Oh yeah, that.
Yes,
Oh, I
sir.
forgot about that. Yeah, that is.
Yes,
But wait a
sir.
minute, before we go to my GM, Sean, what you think about the island?
Um, I'm a strong believer in wrestling games should be about wrestling, man. And I wish the time and resources that went into that mode were put elsewhere. I don't know that it's going to be as big of a payoff as they think it's going to be. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it out. Anything I get or gain from that will be from virtual currency that I've earned. I'm not going to put any of my real life money into it. I'm more likely to invest in a mode like that when I have unlockables such as alternate attires or models rather than creation parts. Like you said, I can create any jacket or sneaker I want. All I have to do is find the logo, upload it, and put it on. I have no incentive to buy Jordan sneakers or a Nike jacket. I have no reason to do that when I can create it myself. I think the island, while could be fun for some. It's not my cup of tea. It's not something that I want in my wrestling game. And I think modes like Universe Mode, My GM, and Create a Story are more worth their time and efforts because it's modes that the community has been begging for, updates for, and new iterations of for a better part of a decade now. So I think as far as the island goes, I don't know how successful it's going to be. I think it may be. a bit of a flop for them. But I mean, I wish them success. Hey, if they're doing this, if they're implementing this island to gain more revenue, to put more money into creating new modes, great. But if it's just to line their pockets with a little bit more cash, I'm not down for it. You know.
Damn it, Sean! Even the New Day went heel. Come on now.
but okay, but you know what? You brought up something. You brought up something really intriguing to me was the online my GM. So I forgot to talk about that.
Time.
Yeah, up to 4 players, I think.
Yeah,
are
so
I'm excited for that.
Okay, that one I can accept. That
Yeah.
one
I've been challenging you for 2 years, Dre, and now it's gonna happen.
Sir,
Yeah,
what makes you think
I have never played a day of my GM in my life.
ever, like even in the past games?
I've wanted to, but it's always seemed too daunting. Like too
Would you,
much
like-
of it. Like I've always been intimidated by the money, and I'm not good at math, bro. I don't like I don't want to have to figure out where to put money where. I like if there's automated system in places for that, great. But I don't want to stress myself. I'm at home on the weekend. I don't want to be worrying about fucking finances in my video game. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me,
I
bro.
love it.
Yo, it's not. Yo, it's not. Yo, all right. So as a person who played, it was in SVR games first.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah.
As a person who played the SVR joints, it was fun in the SVR joints.
Yes.
I feel like they scaled it way down too much in the newer iterations.
Okay.
I feel like because in the older ones you can hire like story writers and you can like design your own rivalries technically. I mean, you don't get to see no cutscenes or nothing like that, but it's just like, oh, this is like a 4-star story that can get you better ratings, or this is a 5-star story that can get you better ratings, like stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, okay, I like that. And then like once you beat it, you can play it again, but then it's like it really opens it up to where it's like you can edit the other brand. So it's like technically you could do like this territory versus that territory, technically just with all created wrestlers. And I think if I play online my GM, it can't be with like WWE rosters. We gotta make it stand out. It gotta be something different. Like I want to use like
I'm down for it. We could use completely creative people. That would get my creative juices flowing to create a roster of people that we could just run and not use their WWE person.
I'll smoke your boots.
I got an idea. I got an idea for rosters.
What's that?
Got?
We just do the Diddy list versus the Epstein list, and we got it.
I think YouTube just shut down my whole channel. I think that's
what hell ain't monetized no more.
My channel that's getting cut out. We can't use that. We can't use that. That can't be used, sir.
Hollywood Elites?
There's no way I can use that. I don't know how to use that. How am I supposed to use that?
So who's taking the Fanta Felon? I just want to know.
I mean,
sorry,
I can't use that.
Oh, my stomach hurt.
My stomach bubbling.
Can't use that one, sir. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll get blackballed. We're trying to come back. We're trying to bring the community in.
That's right.
Every time you win a week, you just as one of them, you just say
I take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
That's it. They won't have Prime at ringside. They're gonna have Johnson's baby oil at ringside. Oh
man. This is terrible. This is all just
off the rails. I love it every time. It never fails. At some point, it falls completely off the fucking rails.
It has to happen.
Ooh. I got tears.
I made Ken cry.
Yo, I just
oh shit! Something fell.
I don't even know where we at now. I lost track.
All right, we were talking about my GM rosters.
Okay, yeah, let's I don't even know.
I mean, I know you guys are usually part of like a Def Jam project each year. I mean, that would probably be kind of something cool that you could do on my
Ooh.
GM, something like that,
Oh, that-
or even, I mean, dude,
We
can
can
we
do
just
any-
talk about the fact that I don't want any celebrities or influencers in my damn wrestling games, bro?
Oh my, yo, we're definitely getting that. I guarantee you, we're gonna get the Speed Kid. We're gonna get who
Yeah,
was
you
that?
definitely getting I Show Speed after he got
And what's the
his boots
Sinat?
sent to the
This is
third
the,
row.
like, okay, this to me, that's the most. It's wasted roster space. And to me, that's some of the most valuable real estate you can have in a wrestling game is who is in it. Okay? You got these
Yeah.
modes you can play in or not play in, whatever. When you waste a spot for somebody that nobody wants to play, or a very small portion of your fan base and consumer wants to play, like, what are you doing?
Here's the acceptable. Here's the one exception that I will take if they did that. If they put Speed in there, it is what it is. He will be a jobber in my EFED. He will be. He'll be. Yeah. If they put good moves on him. If they put good moves on them that I can use, fine. The whole Pat McAfee pack thing they had in 24,
That was so
garbage.
weak.
They put nothing on them that was worth utilizing.
I don't think there's ever been a more boring group of white guys put together than what the fuck. That is just, I mean, they made us look bad, bro.
John's going heel.
That's it. I mean, I'm the cream filling in this Oreo cookie, so I feel like I can say something. But goddamn, I like Pat McAfee. Sure, those other
Because he
guys,
can wrestle.
get rid of them.
Yo, it was
Yeah,
so.
seeing AJ Hawk in a wrestling video game was
It
the
was
worst
just like,
thing.
You want
I
to give
use
me
them as
NFL
jobbers.
players? Give me LT. Give me Steve McMichael. Give me somebody that's been involved with wrestling.
Yes, yes. And speaking of DLC, what are y'all predictions? Just one pack. If y'all can
TNA.
predict one pack, yeah, I think that's the biggest one.
I mean,
I would hope they would capitalize on that relationship, and I mean, I think it should be a mix of current talent. I would say a Joe Hendry and Jordan Gray should definitely be involved, but I think it would be an extremely missed opportunity for them to not put out a classic AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, or Abyss or something along that. Yeah, if you're
Petey
gonna do
Williams.
that, you
But
need.
how would
Yeah.
you do it when half your roster is kind of ex WWE guys, like your Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali's?
Well, that's what I mean. If you're getting a pack of 5 guys, I would say
yeah.
do 2 or 3 new or 2 or 3 legends, and the legends can easily be okay. You get a short hair legend AJ Styles, you get a Kurt Angle from that era, and you get either an Abyss or a short hair Kevin Nash. Like,
Or-
and
There's a lot of ways they could go with that because the pack could be more of like the clothing for the current.
yeah, you could even do that. You could do that. You could do like creation parts that would convert wrestlers. Yeah.
Or you could open up the ECW DLC because Tommy Dreamer's a part of TNA. So you can Rhino is too.
Yeah.
So you can two
TNA
birds
Hall
with
of
one
Famer.
stone.
That's a really interesting pack that could be very lucrative for them if they choose to go about it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't want. I heard whisperings that Goldberg is going to be DLC. I was like, why? Why?
I'll tell you this. The only time I've ever liked Goldberg. The only time I've ever liked Goldberg is in a wrestling game. That's it.
God damn.
I'm not a fan. I see the appeal. He looks like a fucking monster. I have never enjoyed watching him wrestle. In a video game, his moveset is badass. His presence is badass.
I mean, he had William Regal give him the ringer in the middle of a WCW ring. Like, yeah, I watched that. I was like,
you ever seen those memes when they're like one guy has 100 people pointing the knife to them and say, "What's one opinion that'll put you like this?" And I always say Goldberg sucks. Fucking, I can't.
You're not wrong.
I see the appeal, the physical appeal. I see the charisma, as long as he's not talking or doing anything physical.
If he's not talking
just
now,
standing there.
Now that he's lost most of his mass, he can talk. But
yeah, if he's not squashing, don't put him in a ring.
I
Don't
don't
do
know
it.
if he can squash no more because he about snapped the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt's neck trying to
Bro.
put him in the jackhammer.
Yeah, that was rough.
But and I'm also not a super fan of having paid DLC of guys that we just had in the game a year or two ago.
yo,
Wow,
that's
I
the
think that's
same.
now
dirty
he's speaking.
business, bro. That's dirty business.
He's
Mm-hmm.
preaching.
Yo,
Dirty
that's
business.
another thing that I can't stand. And not even only just that. Here's what. Okay, this is the one rant that you're gonna get out of me in this video, and this is something that I thought about for multiple days to make sure I say this correctly.
He's still gonna fuck it up. Watch. Sorry.
The way they played us, or me, I'm gonna say me. I'm just gonna do me. The way they played me with the Great Muda announcement as DLC, and now he's just part of the game. Here's what I do not appreciate about me buying, not it being free, because now he's free, it's whatever, but me buying the Great Muda. Number one, they did the least amount of work possible on his entrance when they already had his entrance in the game. Magic Monster. They already had a great, and that's sort of his entrance, but not really. His actual entrance is a tag team entrance, the one where the dude come out with this big green gem, slams it on the ground, the green smoke pops up, and there comes Muda. I know what match that's from. It's a very strange match. Don't want to get into it. It's where he fought his son. He spit poison mist to the girl coochie, and it birthed the child. It's weird. It's Japan. I'm so serious. Like the dude who had the sumo match with Big Show,
Japan, like you
that
said.
was his son because he spit mist.
Damn, that's almost as bad as Mark Henry in the hand. Holy shit.
Oh,
Yo, I'm so
God.
serious. It's so weird. He was supposed to be in a genie lamp, and the person slammed it in the entranceway. Green mist came up, green smoke, and out came Muda. That's the entrance that's in the game, been in the game for a couple of years now. They could have set that as a singles entrance.
Yeah.
And that would have been beautiful for the Great Muda. They gave us the most garbage entrance. Then, not only that, right?
That was very Boston of you.
It was. I did garbage. Yeah, I like
Garbage.
that. It was. Yeah, it was. Wicked hot.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be asking me to run to the packy, get you some ciggies.
And pop the kind of compact. But
Yeah.
so it's I feel like then also the moves. Whoever mo-capped number one, the shining elbow, killed him. Whoever did the moonsault, why? And the Great Muda with the face paint never did the Shining Wizard. Why is the Shining Wizard on his moveset? Sir, like 2K, what are we doing here? Is no one paying attention to this? Like, what's going on here? Like, it was just that Great Muda. Just it bothered me so much. Like, and then it's like you could have did his NWO version. You could have did his NWO version. Like that would have been great with the NWO face paint. No, they decided to do his AWA. Like no one gives a fuck, bruh. I'm just disappointed in with the Great Muda. I'm disappointed. Same thing they do with DDP. They same DDP model. No, actually, they updated in 24. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, that new DDP model is pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm proud of them. They did their thing. Yeah. But his attires are always garbage. It's always just black pants. It's like, dog, you know he has his logo. Like, so why, like, you.
Plus, man, he has some dope, like 95, 90s. He has some, like, dope, colorful, like, lime green tights with purple waist. Like, I don't know. I'm a 90s kid, so I like bright colors. I like neon colors. I like stuff that stands out. I'm also a Kowalski guy, so he never liked us to have black gear and stuff like that. He's like, you need to stand out. You need to be colorful. You need to be memorable. And so whenever I see someone with like a plain Jane attire, I'm just like, you know, I'm disappointed.
You got to be able to stand out on that. So, the intergender, like, we had in the wrestling games beforehand, and I think a lot of people appreciate the fact now, even though we've been seeing it on TV since Reggie was facing Sasha Banks on SmackDown, and this was 3-4 years ago? Maybe even longer than that.
Longer. Now I was gonna say she's been gone for like almost that long.
Yeah. So it's just like now we finally get to see it. Are you guys anyway excited about that, or how do we feel about that?
Too little, too late for me. I think they just kind of. Again, this goes back to a person bringing it out, which means that it was already in the fucking game, and for whatever reason, they just 2K'd it and kept it behind the wall. So It doesn't move for me. It doesn't move the needle one way or the other. I'm more. It will sound weird saying this, but I'm more happy that the women can actually bleed now than than the fact that they have intergender matches. I said it would
Oh,
sound weird. All right,
I know it
well,
did, but we were used to hearing you say strange things.
go to
Don't try to pronunciate Benicio Tenryu. Please don't.
said. I'm from Baltimore. I can't say that shit.
What about you, Sean?
I mean, I think it's great that that's something that's been brought back. I don't know how often I'll use it. I feel like something like that would be most likely would appear in like maybe my Attitude Era universe when I'm using someone like China or Sable. You know, I don't know it's something that I would use on the regular, but I know that there is a huge Diva Stan fan base out there that's super happy. It's back in. I'm happy for them that they got a W. So you know, I'm with Ken. I think it's a bigger deal that you know, women versus women, they can get color in that than rather than, you know, I'll be more excited to see that than I would actually play intergender match. But I'm very happy that that has come back in because more options are always better. Regardless, I'm not going to play it or not. Somebody else is going to have enjoyment out of it. So, you know.
Okay. So, all right. I was also looking at this, and I don't know if I felt some type of way about it or not. And it was with this past interview with Brian Williams because, once again, it's not the devs' fault. I'm going to say this again. People do not get angry with the devs. They do not decide what's in the game.
Nah,
They can offer ideas that could be utilized. They say, "Oh, this will be cool," but it's not on them. It's not on Brian Williams. It's not on Lionel Jenks, which is not his real name. It's not on none of them to decide like what's like honestly like it's really not because they can say it'd be cool, but they have to go to somebody else to get the okay and then do it from
And
there.
can I also add something to that real quick?
Hmm.
For any of y'all out there in the Twitterverse or whatever, calling these people liars or why don't you do your job? They are doing their job. If they're given a line to say, it's their job to say it, regardless of whether it's completely transparent or not. These people have careers and families to take care of. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're told to say something, that's not them being a shill or them lying. That, you know, they're doing what they're told to do because that's their job to do it. And whether we like it or not, it's how they provide for their family and make a living. So the hate that I saw for Brian Williams this past week was like I feel like it
yeah,
was totally unfounded.
that was
You know,
unnecessary.
and I just, dude, like they're not gonna just go off the rails and put their own company on blast. Like,
Yo,
why
for
would
real.
anyone ever do that? So I feel like, and I don't know, I just like use some common sense, people.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
Facts.
Thank you.
No, you good on
It's
that.
true.
I'm tired of them attacking the devs too because the devs do have a higher power that they have to listen to,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be like if we have a conversation with them like off to the side, as long as I believe they can trust us, they'll probably blast them out. But
Yeah.
as far as when they get in front of a camera and they know that
No.
their people is watching, fuck
Yeah.
you. I got kids to feed.
Yo,
Yes.
facts. And then not only just that, I feel like they have these spoke peoples, but spokesperson. I don't know.
Spoke. How do you say
Spokesperson?
multiple of
That's a
spokesperson?
I know there's
Spokespersons?
spoke
These people
stuff.
have spoke.
I don't know people they put on camera. They got only like 2 or 3 of them, right? And I feel like what they need to do is open it up a little bit more towards people who can really give the community answers that they're looking for. I don't think that they ever had anybody who was in charge of create a wrestler, arena,
Dude,
champion.
no.
Never.
So, me and the Icons team last year on the Pro Wrestling Shoot podcast got to interview David something, who is the lead dev for Create a Wrestler. And that was the
Okay.
first time I've ever seen that happen. But we got like 45 minutes with him to ask him stuff, which was wicked cool. And he was super cool. Gave us the most honest answers he could. I don't feel like he was like hiding stuff. And he, you know, he was talking about like I see the comments, and he would say stuff that we didn't even bring up. So I know for a fact he was keeping an eye on what the community wants because he was bringing up stuff before we even said it. So I wish we could see more interviews like that. And I think the proper thing to do was if you have a gameplay director on for gameplay, you don't ask questions about universe. You don't ask questions about creation suite because that sets you up for a bad feel. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's the problem with a lot of these wrestling game YouTubers where they don't understand that.
Yeah.
And it's like they take these interviews and they hype them up and all this, and it's like when you watch them, and it's just like, what did you asked all the wrong questions, like literally.
I think without if they had prefaced it first, like, hey, we're only asking gameplay questions here, that's one thing. But if you don't say that first and then you don't ask the questions people want to get asked, you're gonna get put on blast. Especially when you got dude.
But they don't know what these people
Pro
do.
Wrestling Shoot. He had a question on his podcast the other night, a super chat. $50 someone paid to ask a question that couldn't get answered. Like, bro, like you should know as a person before you spend your money, this is not going to be able to get answered, bro.
Yeah, like
You know, and it's not. I don't know. It's not always on the podcasters, man. I mean, you got people. You got to use common sense.
be aware of who you're interviewing.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. You have to be aware of who you're interviewing. You can't sit there. Oh, I'm here for Universe Mode, and you asking them about creator wrestling. Like, what are we doing? What are we? Why are you? What? And then you hear I don't know or a no or not yet, and it's like, dog, you're asking the wrong. If you keep hearing no, and all the questions that you ask, you're literally asking the wrong questions. Literally.
Yeah, it's like you got a plumber coming into your house to fix your sink, and then you ask him how long you got to cook a chicken for, and what's the safe internal temperature of that chicken.
Real talk. Like, yo, if I had Brian Williams on, I would have prepared myself to know exactly what questions to ask him because what I would have did was my research.
I think Jesse had a really great lineup of questions. I also think he knew that if he didn't ask certain ones, there was going to be some heat on him. So I think the questions that came from him were intelligent questions. I think those were good. But I also think that he knew that if certain questions weren't asked, like he was going to get lit up by the community. So,
but that's the thing, though. It doesn't like. Okay, I can only preference because I've interviewed game devs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I interviewed Brian Williams multiple times, so it's like, even if it's a situation where I still feel like you just should know like what to ask, and then not even only that, make it entertaining, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like those 3 interviews that he were on, I felt like it's not like they weren't professional. It's not like the presentation wasn't good. It wasn't like none of that. I just felt like they could have asked more precise questions, direct questions where they know or have felt a better percentage would have gotten a better answer, a yes, rather than a no, or that's something we could look into, or saying, not even asking questions, but saying, I was going over this community. This is probably something that you guys would like to know. We want blah, blah, blah in the upcoming games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, once again, I listened to these 3 interviews and I heard no too much.
And you know, I think a lot of what dictated these questions falls on the marketing strategy of 2K, because these interviews are happening at a time where certain things haven't been talked about. So people are like, "Hey, we don't have any information on this."
Don't ask for the interview. That's the whole thing. Like,
this is what
I said earlier. Don't do the interviews until you're ready, or have the right person up.
Yeah.
You don't need Brian Williams all the time. You don't need Lionel Jinx. That's not his real name. But you don't need him on there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't need him on there all the time. So just have people who can answer these questions. You want gameplay questions? Here's a gameplay guy.
Yeah.
Creation Suite? Here's that guy. You know what I'm saying?
I think maybe
they could just hire one person that they can give.
Oh, that won't work.
No, just like giving the notes for all of them, because I feel like, you know, people like a Brian Williams, because the community knows who he is, they'll put him in front of the screen as kind of like a sellout. Like they know he can't answer. And I only say that because he can't answer all the questions.
No.
He can only answer what he works on. But all the questions are going to come at him. And because the community knows who he is, they're going to be like, well, he should know this. Well, not necessarily, but they're not thinking about it like that. Like you're a week away and you haven't talked about the creation suite. If Brian don't work nothing with the creation suite, well, you already know them questions is coming. So if you take one person and you give them all the information that you want them to say, then don't make it a dev. Make it somebody that can just answer the fucking questions. Give them the cliff notes. Don't mention this, this, or that. Otherwise, your shit will be at the front door and your badge won't work. Just let that person be able to answer as many of that one person be able to answer as many of the questions as possible, and you save people from getting blindsided in these interviews, even though they know it's coming.
I mean,
it's
isn't
like
isn't that what a community manager is for? Isn't that what Lexi is? I mean, you would think maybe they would have one person do the, like you said, and have a general knowledge or notebook for it.
I feel like 2K and EA both miss what a community manager is supposed to actually be.
Yeah. And that's the thing, dude. I really hate to keep saying it. I don't feel like it falls on the YouTubers. I feel like it falls on 2K for not setting clear guidelines. Like, don't ask this because we can't answer it. You know, it's like you got to let these people know I can do your show, but this is all we can talk about.
Yeah, but if you ask the same question if you're that YouTuber and you get to, let's say, I'm gonna use Brian Williams again. Let's say you get to interview him last year for 2K24. You blindside them with the question, and then 2K25, you get lucky to, interview him again, and you hit him with the same question. That falls on the YouTuber because know from the last time you had the conversation with him, he can't answer that question for whatever the reason may be. He can't answer. So that falls on the YouTuber because you need to do more research and come up with better questions that he can answer. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's like if you get to interview XYZ this year and then somebody different next year, cool. And you run the same questions, possibly cool. I'll let the YouTuber get away with that one. But if you're interviewing the same one year after year and you're asking them the same stupid ass questions year after year, you deserve to get the same stupid ass answer year after year. And the community deserves to keep hearing the same stupid ass question and answers year after year. All right, I'm done. I actually am going to have to dip out so y'all can do what you do.
But we'll cut it short. We'll cut it short. We'll cut it short because we can do this again. So yeah, let's just cut it here. You know, right. we ran it enough. It's been an hour, some change. We did this for a while.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's been All right, so we ranted. We're gonna do this again. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, all that good stuff. We're gonna call it a day. Thank you guys for coming in. We're gonna do this again.
Hell yeah, man. It was good to see you guys.
Y'all stay safe. Catch y'all in the next video.
All right, later.
Later.